This year didn't go as expected. It taught me lessons that I wasn't ready to learn, but I desperately needed. Have you ever looked back on a year? It wasn't the big wins, the big losses that defined it. It was a quiet, unexpected moments that changed everything. As I sat down and reflect on the last 12 months, 4 lessons stood out. These are truths that shifted my perspective on health, relationship, career. I'm sharing these with you because maybe, just maybe, these may spark something in you too, something that might help you as we step in a new year. Lesson 1, health is a real wealth. For many years, I prided myself on working hard, being disciplined, and making every moment count. Until this year, when I woke up one day and was feeling completely awful. Not because I didn't have the motivation, I didn't want to carry on. I just couldn't physically start doing the work that I had on that day. It gave me perspective on how important rest is. Rest isn't a luxury. It's not optional. Health is something that can easily be taken for granted. But it's usually when we're sick that we realize how important health is. Health is actually the foundation that allows you to do everything else in your life. This made me think about how I schedule my week and making sure that I have some times where I'm not working. By giving myself permission to rest without feeling guilty, my body was running recharge and it realigned my mind. Simple practices I've incorporated this year is to expose myself to direct sunlight in the morning and also going on more walks. Lesson 2 is relationship. The people who matter most. They say that you're the average of the 5 people you spend most time with. May sound cliche, but this year, I realized how profound this idea is. There were moments when I felt drained, not by work, not by life, but by the people I've surrounded myself with. It was hard to face this realization. Some relationship, even long-standing one, where people want to protect you, they're quietly pulling you away from your goals. It wasn't easy, it never is, but I knew that if I wanted to grow, I had to spend less time with people who were not going the same direction with me. At the same time, I leaned into relationships that energized and inspired me. The kind of people who challenged me and were cheering for me to achieve my goals. There's one relationship that we often overlook, and that's the relationship we have with ourselves. How do we speak to ourselves and how we treat ourselves? The truth is, how you treat yourself has a ripple effect on the connections and people that you have relationship with. Relationships are like mirrors. They reflect habits, your belief, and possibilities. Surrounding yourself with the right people is going to shape your entire life. But it starts with how you see yourself. Lesson 3, growth happens outside of comfort zone. One of the biggest lessons I've learned this year is that comfort zones are not meant to keep us safe. They're here to keep us small. If you want to grow your career, you have to step outside of your comfort zone. And it's really difficult when you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, when everybody else might be misunderstanding you. And that's one of the things when I started this YouTube channel early in my career. People around me didn't know what I was doing. And there were also comments, what are you doing on YouTube? There were not many doctors on YouTube at the time. If you believe that what you're doing is right and you go for it, go all in and step outside of your comfort zone, develop your skills, you become a better version. This is not easy. You have to put in the work. 2 skills that I sharpened this year is first my communication skill. So communication is something that you keep working on, even if you feel like you're doing well at it. As I also teach communication skill, I need to make sure that I'm on top of my game. Then the second thing is a leadership skill. This is something I'm getting more experience. I've been reading books on leadership. A sign of a great leader is somebody who listens, somebody who really listens to the person and give them their full attention. So when you're a good leader, you're going to get people to do things that they didn't even think was possible. So I'm learning more on leadership, and going into 2025, I'm looking forward to keep sharpening that skill. If you're a doctor, you might be risk averse like me. I used to think that I like to keep things safe and don't take any risk. The problem with that mindset is that by not taking any risk, I might be actually taking the biggest risk. You know, if I didn't start this YouTube channel, which was a risk in itself, then I would have been losing on the opportunity of growth, connecting with other people. Think about What are you doing in your life? Are there things that you're just staying safe, thinking that you're not taking risks because you're afraid of something? Or is it because you had this fear of failure? You know, it's really important that we confront ourselves, because sometimes if we don't fail in life, then it means that we're not really pushing hard enough. People who are really successful, they've failed many times and they've actually learned a lot from these failings. So failure in itself is not bad. It could set you up for your next success. My question to you is, what one thing right now you know that you should be doing, but you have been actually procrastinating or thinking, maybe that's not for me, but it keeps coming back? And if that's something that you have to try and do it, then maybe in 2025 would be the year that you could start. Lesson 4, work smarter but not harder. I used to think that putting in more hours, working harder, it was the only way to get ahead. But then I was sat in a seminar. An entrepreneur said, being an entrepreneur is great, but the real game is being an investorpreneur. It hit me really hard, because so far in my career, what got me here was working hard and putting in more hours. But what's going to get me to where I want to get to is by thinking differently. So you have only limited time, and sometimes you need to be thinking about how do you use other resources to get where you need to faster. You know, finance is really important. It is going to decide when you retire. It's going to decide whether you can get the lifestyle you want. You see, the investorpreneur, they make the money work harder for them. Whereas if you're just working for money, trading your most valuable currency, your time, which is limited, for money, then there's only so far you can get. But when you get your money to work for you, then you can sleep and still make money. So this year I've really been thinking about, how am I making my money work for me? That shift changed everything for me. It made me realize that as an investorpreneur, you have to be thinking about how do you allocate your time, your energy, your resources, and what are the returns that you're getting from each of these investments. There's only so many hours you can work, and you're trading that time for money. So now when I'm taking decision, there are things I'm saying no and turning down. I don't feel bad about turning them down, because I know that I'm actually sticking to what I want to achieve and the long-term benefit of doing that. Now it's your turn. What one lesson that you learned from 2024 as you reflect on the last 12 months? Please write it down in the comment. I'll be looking forward to reading your comment. My best wishes for 2025. If you found this video useful, then I'm sure you're going to get a lot from watching this video. Click the video to watch it. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.